Starting off today with a quote from Martin Luther King, it says, "Our Lord has written the promise of resurrection not in books alone, but in every leaf in springtime." Because it's spring. Happy first day of spring. I noticed a sure sign of spring last week. The seed packets are now available inside the door at the grocery store, all ready to be purchased. It's time to think about planting those gardens and doing all that outside work after months of winter. And years ago, my folks would actually start getting seed catalogs, maybe a little earlier than this time of year. But Dad would also start about now planting seeds in and putting them in windowsills so that they'd be ready to put in the garden later on. And we've turned our clocks ahead, so things are definitely pointing towards spring. I do love this time of year, all the seasons actually, but I especially like checking my flower beds and seeing which perennials are starting to peek out of the ground. The discouraging part of it is seeing the ones that don't look like they're going to make it, and you just kind of have to wait a while because sometimes they do come back and they will be okay. But if they don't, then you realize, well, they're going to have to be pulled out and replaced. There's a great sense of renewal and rebirth that comes with spring, perking up our hearts and kind of shaking some of the dust and cobwebs out of our corners of our hearts and brains. We seem to need that reboot about this time of year to discard some of the more sedentary habits that we've developed over the winter. And I know that we want to get more active for spring and summer. My dogs, especially Maggie, love this time of year. She really likes to be outside almost any time of year, but I know she'll be spending a lot more time out now that it's spring as well. Part of God's plan for creation was providing for the changing of the seasons, the cycles that our years go through, in which we're witness to the majesty of all that He's provided for us and the beauty of those specific times. The Apostle Paul in the book of Acts chapter 14 spoke these words, and he was trying to get the people to understand how limited their gods were compared to the one true God. He said, "We are bringing you good news, telling you to turn from these worthless things to the living God, who made the heavens and the earth and the sea and everything in them. He has shown kindness by giving you rain from heaven and crops in their seasons. He provides you with plenty of food and fills your hearts with joy." God has provided everything that we need from the very beginning of time, the material things that we need to survive, as well as things for our enjoyment and pleasure. Without His wisdom throughout creation, we wouldn't have the exact kind of air that we need to breathe, the seasons that help us to grow crops and also let the ground rest and rejuvenate during the winter, and the rains that fall to help the crops grow. We also wouldn't have, without His magnificent creativity, beautiful sunrises and sunsets, snow-capped mountains, stunning deep blue oceans, or the myriad of creatures that inhabit all these places. Each season we experience, and we all have our favorites, help to remind us of the glory of God and His amazing providence, care, and protection for us throughout our lives. Glory be to God. Have a great day.